Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back once again to Maximus the Fourth. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys how to get monetized on YouTube. And also, as a huge extra, I'm going to share my story with you and how I actually got monetized. So let's go ahead and dig right into this. So, for anybody that is watching this video that is a YouTuber, that is you're the one looking at the screen. There are two things that you have to have in order to get monetized. One, you need 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get 1,000, you just need 1,000. That's all there is to it. Plain simple. And then two, in my opinion, which is the harder part, but it varies for some people, is you need 4,000 hours worth of view time in a 365-day period. So, let's say you're grinding away, trying to get 4,000 hours in a year. And let's say you're up to 2,000 hours. And let's say you had a video that had like, I don't know, 50,000 views. And it generated 500 hours worth of view time. But guess what? The video is now a year old, exactly 365 days. And all the views you gained from the video has now been 365 days old. Guess what? If you go to look at your YouTube Studios bar and you see that you're looking at the hours, you will definitely see your hours will have dropped by 500 hours. So it's no joke. YouTube, what they're trying to do is they're trying to weed out the weak YouTubers from the strong ones. And they're not going to pay you unless you hit the mark. You really have to prove yourself. So, my advice to any young YouTuber out there, or early YouTuber, that is trying to get monetized, make sure that whatever it is that you're creating, that you're doing your research, and you know what you're talking about, because there's going to be people out there that will watch your videos that already know all about what you're talking about. But some people are so fascinated by what they already know that they like to see what other people have to say. So that is why a lot of times it is very, very important that you are making sure all of your information is accurate, because you have other experts that are watching you just for fun. And also, here's the thing. The platform of YouTube is very much a platform that anybody can log into, post a video, and boom, see whatever results they're going to get. Whether it's 50 views, 1 view, 1,000 views, 1,000,000 views, whatever. And YouTubing, it's very much like acting. You're just going to have to deal with a lot of rejection, and unless you're a very, very fortunate YouTube personality that has been just blessed beyond belief with the algorithm and has basically become a real life celebrity as a YouTuber, such as the LA Beast, Badlands Chugs, Furious Pete, to name a few. Mr. Beast, he's the YouTube god. There's, you get the point. Some people just have a much better advantage than others. And there are people out there that get so many views, it's ridiculous. While you have ordinary YouTubers like myself, I have to fight very hard, even to this very day, just to get any video that'll hit 1,000. And it happens more often than not, thankfully. When I'm in the heat, I don't know. I won't count that. But also, YouTube is very competitive. There's going to be other people out there that are interested in making content on the same exact thing that you are. So let me tell you my story and how I started out as a YouTuber and eventually got monetized like I am right now. So I, right off the bat, was very inspired just by Badlands Chugs, seeing a lot of these videos that he was doing, like the Pepsi Peeps limited edition boxed, where you could only win it as a Pepsi sweepstakes item. I also saw him do the Pepsi Cola Hot Chocolate too, and even the Dr. Pepper Fantastic Chocolate. And after enough time passed by, I was like, man, I gotta buy some of this stuff and just try these rare sodas, because I was very interested for a very long time. But it took months for me to finally actually pull the trigger and start buying some stuff on eBay to try stuff. And well, after doing that for long enough, I was like, what if I just try doing a video of me reviewing some of these rare sodas? What would people think? Would I get good views? I was like, I don't know, but I have all this soda now that I need to make use of, so why not just try doing some videos? And my very first video that I ever did was the Pepsi Cola Hot Chocolate, which today I still think is the best rare soda, the best soda on earth, period. It is absolute S tier, complete 10 out of 10, and would get more than a 10 if it was possible to give it more than that. So that video obviously definitely did not do well at all in the beginning. I think to this day it's up to like 210 views. But in the beginning, to quote DJ Glowing Ice, as a YouTuber, it's a grind. You have to be consistent, and you can't get discouraged, because you're going to have a lot of videos, especially in the beginning, unless you're blessed like the LA Beast, that just aren't going to do well. And as time goes on, you're slowly going to start seeing more and more people that are liking your content and enjoying it and commenting, and then you'll see subscribers pop up, and that'll motivate you, so you'll do more stuff like I did. But with my experience, I went in with the mentality of just doing rare sodas in the very beginning. Pretty much all the sodas were rare. And if they weren't completely rare, they were sodas that you could only get in like Japan. And yeah, mainly Japan sodas is what I was doing as the rare sodas in the very beginning. So I just started, I didn't really think how to do it. I just kind of went for it. And there were some videos where I was very awkward and just didn't look that good, near as good as I do to this day. But it comes with building confidence. You will get better and better at videos that you do. It's like anything. The more time and the effort that you put into it, the better you're going to get. And so I think I did a Pepsi Orange review. Pepsi Orange from Japan. There was never a Pepsi Orange released in the States, and I did Japan Pepsi Orange. And that video, to this day, it's at 400 views. But when I first dropped the video, I can't remember exactly how many days went by, but it didn't take very long for that video to spike up to 300 views. So that was a huge confidence booster already. And there were also a few other things that I was considering doing in the very beginning, even before that Pepsi Orange review. I was like, what are some really good trends that people do, some challenges on YouTube that are very well known that I could try? And what came to my mind was the Diet 2-liter No Burp Challenge. It's where you chug 2 liters of Diet Coke without burping. And so I tried it. I just kind of went at it. I'm like, hey guys, this is me, Maximus the Fourth. I'm gonna attempt to do Diet Coke 2-liter challenge, and I explained that there's very popular YouTubers out there like the LA Beast, Matt Stoney, Badlands Chugs, Furious Pete. They've all tried this before, and we'll see how far I get. So I tried doing that challenge, and I got about 40% of the soda down before I had to throw in the towel and give up. And that video, within relative fast amount of time, actually got up to 1,000 views. And to this day, it's actually grown up to 2,600 views. But when I first did the Diet Coke 2-liter no-burp challenge, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta complete this, because very naturally, I'm a very competitive person. In whatever it is that I'm doing, I want to be the best at it, or at least just be able to achieve stuff. So I'm like, I was contemplating in my head, I was like, if I keep on trying to do more attempts in one day with this Diet Coke 2-liter no-burp challenge, there is a chance that I actually could complete this. And I figured this out in my own head. I'm like, maybe if I just keep doing it until I do it, then I can do it. Because in theory, I was thinking that the more times you try it, the bigger the stomach capacity you can build up to complete the challenge like that. And so I tried it again. The second attempt, I just failed miserably. I mean, horribly bad. I think I only got like 20% of that down on the second try. And it was very, very miserable the second try. I felt so sick, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to try this again. That was awful. And to this day, I think the second attempt is at like 750 views, something like that. So I was working along, time went by, and I'm like, okay, I gotta try it again. I have to. I got to, no matter what. I just have to. So I tried it a third time. In that time, I think I had cleared about 50%, maybe 60% of all the liquids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually got closer. And to this day, the third attempt has 1,000 views. And then I'm like, okay, I know I can complete this challenge. I just have to try it a fourth time. So another hour or so went by, and I was at my mother-in-law's house at the time doing some yard work for her. So I was hot and ready to go. And so the hour passed, and I was like, okay, we're going to try this again. In the fourth attempt, I think I cleared about 75%, maybe 80% of it on the fourth try. So I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, I know I can complete this challenge. In the fourth attempt, has 1,000 views, thankfully. But then, when I got home later, I was like, I gotta try it a fifth time, because I think I actually can do this now. And so I tried it a fifth time, and I think it took me like a minute or two to drink all the soda. I did it in one go, and the soda wasn't cold, so it wasn't burning my mouth. But I got it all down, and I had completed the Diet Coke 2-liter no-burp challenge, and I was like, yeah! Yes! And that video to this day, I think, has like 1.1 thousand, maybe 1.2 or 1.3 views. I can't remember exactly. So right off the bat, that was a huge confidence booster. Not just completing the Diet Coke 2-liter no-burp challenge, but to see that at the time 3 out of 5 of those videos were kind of blowing up helped a lot. And actually, prior to doing the Diet Coke 2-liter no-burp challenge, I had done the 1 pound butter eating challenge. And this was before I was even officially a YouTuber and even trying to get views, before I even cared. And for the longest time, that video had like 30 views, 40 views, maybe 50 or 60, 70. It was building up a little bit here and there, but not substantially enough at all to really care or get excited. But then something happened. Out of nowhere, I saw that that video had got up to 350 views overnight. And I was immediately excited, like, what the heck just happened? Because that video was like 3 years old at the time when it finally had gained some traction. And it turned out that what had happened is somebody had actually found that video and they shared it on Reddit's Deep Into YouTube website, which is a website for people in the forum to watch unpopular videos that are very obsessed with YouTube videos, and my video made it here. And to this very day, when that video had hit the algorithm, it kept going and splurged all the way up to 1.7 thousand views. It was a very good, strong algorithm. And that video, it went from like 50 views to 1.7 thousand views in less than a 24-hour period. So that was a very hot algorithm, and again, that was another huge confidence booster. I couldn't believe that such an old video could gain that much traction when you think that a video could be completely dormant. It wasn't the case. So that was a huge, huge, huge confidence booster, and I'm like, okay, well, and of course, after I tried the Diet Coke 2-liter challenge, I started experimenting more and more with 2-liter soda chugs, because I figured if I did chugs and not just the reviews, I could gain more traction. And it was working pretty well. Like, most of my chug videos that I was doing back then was getting at least 300 views, 400, 500, sometimes 600, sometimes 700. And that felt good and all, but chugs are very hard on your body. It's unhealthy. Even a moron knows that. And I'll get to that later on. But I just continued with the chugs, and it basically slowly had transitioned out of reviewing and predominantly became a chugger pretty much full time on YouTube. And there, yeah, I was getting some steady traction, like 300 or 400 views, 500, 600. But then something happened, and there was what was called the Coca-Cola marshmallow. And that one was trending at the time. It was in stores, and people were interested in trying it. And I tried doing a 2-liter chug of that with no shirt. I don't know, I was just contemplating what I could do for ideas. And that video actually gained 1,000 views relatively fast. And so again, another huge confidence booster. And I eventually, that video got up to 1.3 thousand views, which is there now. But I just kind of continued on with my chugs and did it for a year straight. Maybe a little bit longer than that before, well, cutting away from the chugs eventually. But there were other videos out there like, let me think here. There was another Coca-Cola flavor that came out that was called Coca-Cola Dream World. And when I did a 2-liter chug in that video, I actually puked. And that video hit 1,000. And this was after doing many other chugs. So I could definitely tell that I had already been discovered and people were regularly interested in watching my content because of the chugs. And rather my videos were getting 1,000 views or not, which most of them didn't, of course, I was still getting pretty good traction. Like 300 views, even 300 views is a pretty good video. Even for a YouTuber like, let's say, DJ Glowing Ice, Industries World Radio, I'm pretty sure that even when that guy gets videos that'll hit 300 views, sometimes that makes him happy, because 300 views is not a bad thing. That's a solid video. But, so I got to the point to where let's back up a little bit. I got to the point to where I was like, I want to try something really extreme. Let's try something that I've never done. and I attempted to devour an entire 12-pack of Pepsi Cherry Vanilla. And Pepsi Cherry Vanilla at the time was still out there on the market, and it still might be out there somewhere, but it's very hard to find now if it still is available. And I had bought a 12-pack of the Pepsi Cherry Vanilla off of Amazon, so I'm like, let's just go for this. Let's see if I can devour this entire 12-pack. And that video, when I was done with it, I was getting comments all over the place. People just loved it. There were people like Todd 1734. I think Chris Redfield had just discovered me in that video. And there's, I think Doug Davis commented too. And Craig Grout, which has always been a good fan of mine, commented. But what the weird thing was about that video is it didn't gain 1,000 views fast at all. In fact, it took about 6 weeks for that video to finally gain 1,000 views. But what had happened, what was even better about it gaining 1,000 views so slowly, is that it landed on what I personally like to call YouTube's eternal algorithm. And the best way I can describe YouTube's eternal algorithm is it's basically videos out there, even a video that will gain 100 views every 30 days. That's a good solid video that is going to continue to get traction. But as that video finally closed in on 1,000 views, I noticed that it was continuing to grow. 1.1 thousand, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. so on and so forth. And then it broke 2,000, and then it broke 3,000, and then it broke 4,000. Now it's up to 4.9 thousand, just 25 views away from gaining 5,000 views. So that video is very much a stabilizer for my channel. It's one of my best videos, and it's a bread and butter video that will always probably more than likely gain at least 13 or 1,200 views every year. So that was a game changer, getting a video like that too. And so I continued on with my chugs, and eventually I had to stop doing my chugs because it was creating problems in my marriage. And it's just stupid to do chugs forever too. And so, but what I noticed is that on my YouTube hours for the 365-day period, I pretty much had plateaued out at about 1,740 hours. I just couldn't really get any higher than that number. And I was just doing the chugs. My channel wasn't really growing that rapidly enough to where I could gain a bunch of views, because I was only doing one chug every 5 days. And that was my problem, was putting out too little content. So eventually I stopped doing the chugs, and as you guys know, to this day I'll still do some chugs, but it's on a very rare occasion, like when I'm celebrating. So I transitioned back into reviews only, and I was just torn up. I mean, I was torn up in pieces because I loved doing the chugs, but I couldn't do it anymore because it's hard on your health. So I just very discouragingly just tried to do whatever I could to get some views, like just going to normal sodas even, and doing some food reviews, like at McDonald's. The very first food review I did, it was a strawberries and cream pie, which was a limited edition at McDonald's. And that video gained about 174 views. And then there was another video that I tried doing that was called How to Sharpen a Chainsaw. Gained like 174 views, so it's not bad. So I'm like, okay, we're branching out and trying these different things. There's definitely a chance that I can gain some traction. And I just stuck with it. I didn't give up no matter what happened. And then all of a sudden I tried the Big Mac and One Bite Challenge, which is very notorious, especially from the LA Beast. His video has like 3 million. So I'm like, what if I just try the Big Mac One Bite Challenge? What's the worst that's going to happen? So I tried it again, just like the Diet Coke 2-liter no challenge, I announced how it's a very popular challenge on YouTube, and there's people out there, some famous YouTubers out there, such as the LA Beast, Notorious Bob, and there was one other YouTuber out there, I think, that I mentioned that had done it or something. But anyways, so I was like, so now I'm gonna try it. I was like, 10,000 subscribers off one video coming right up, 1 million views, let's go. Just kind of clowning. And then I noticed, like, within 5 or 6 hours, that video was crawling like 10 views, 20 views, 30 views, 40 views, 50 views, 60 views. And then all of a sudden, boom! It was up to like 175. So I knew that that video had hit an algorithm. So overnight, that video had gotten up to like 700 views, and people were commenting on it like nuts. And as the time was going by, the algorithm was only becoming stronger, which had never happened before on getting that many views that fast. And it was insane. Like, the video finally broke 1,000, and then I noticed it was getting like 100 views every 15 minutes. And then when it really plateaued out and got up to like 3,000 views, I noticed it was getting like 300 views every 10 minutes. 300, 3,600, 3,900. And then all of a sudden, 4,200 views. It was like, oh my gosh! To this day, the Big Mac and 1 Bite Challenge is my most popular video. But that's going to change soon, because I have better videos than that one that are definitely going to pass that. But that was a huge confidence booster. 4,200 views in less than 24 hours, or right at 24 hours, was amazing. And I looked at my YouTube studio status on my hours, and that video alone had generated 100 hours worth of view time. So that was a huge confidence booster. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I'm like, okay, I did the Big Mac and 1 Bite Challenge. I've done some soda reviews. I did the chainsaw video. What more is there that I can do? So I'm like, what if I try doing some mukbang videos? Anything. Eat burgers from McDonald's, Wendy's, Jack in the Box, whatever. In-N-Out Burger. And prior to this, I had started to think outside the box. I'm like, what is there that I could do that is going to gain a good amount of traction, that is not just any ordinary soda review? So what I did is I bought a 80s Coca-Cola, or Cherry Coke, an 80s Cherry Coke, and it had a really cool design on it. And I said, the video was what would happen if you drank a 1980s Cherry Coke next to a modern day fresh one. In that video, it got up to 715 views. It wasn't spectacular or anything, but at the time, that's good traction for me. And so that was another confidence booster. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have all these Crystal Pepsis, these vintage Crystal Pepsis. I have a bunch of vintage Pepsi Blues. What is there that I can do to gain more traction? So I'm like, okay, let's try taking vintage Pepsi Blue and the modern day one, entitled the video, what would happen if you drank a vintage Pepsi Blue next to the modern day fresh one? That one gained 1.9 thousand views very fast. And then I tried the same thing with Crystal Pepsi, a modern day bottle next to old school bottle, and that one got 2.8 thousand views, and that was a huge confidence booster. So I'm like, let's keep this up. What would happen if you drank a 1984 49ers Coke bottle next to a modern day fresh one? Boom! That video gained 2.8 thousand views. So I knew that I had discovered a niche where if I take a really old container of soda and burst it up to a modern day container, that could gain some traction. And it worked really well for me, doing the same thing with Mountain Dew as well as 7-Up, and even doing it with Sprite. It worked. And I did it with crushed grape soda, which that one gained like 730 views. It wasn't the best one, but that was a really good niche that I discovered that can gain traction on my channel. And to this very day, I still will compare old school containers of soda to modern day ones and tell the viewers what I think about it. And I think that's going to be a very steady niche that I will always do on my channel, no matter what. So once I started venturing out and trying the mukbang challenges, I was like, what if I do a high calorie meal? And so I had this idea in my head for a while, and it was the 4x4x4 challenge. Nobody had ever done that on YouTube. I just made up the challenge. I figured 4 4x4s is a lot of food. That's 4,000 calories. And it's not like competitive pro eating status, but it's definitely an impressive enough, big enough meal to where people are probably going to want to watch that. So I just executed it. I did it. In that video, it topped out at 2.2 thousand views relatively fast. So again, that's another huge confidence booster. And DJ Glowing Ice had sent me a bottle of Crystal from the makers of Pepsi. And before I even did any of the modern day bottles of soda to an old school bottle, I think I reviewed the soda, what does Crystal from the makers of Pepsi taste like? And that video gained like 850 views. It was a very rare soda that not many people had ever tried in my day. I don't think anyone has ever done that to this day on YouTube still. And so DJ had helped me out a ton by sending me that soda. And there was another video that I did. I was like, oh my gosh. And I wasn't even planning on doing this, but I was looking for wild cherry Pepsi cans because I wanted to do a video on the history of wild cherry Pepsi and showing the viewers various amounts of what the different cans looked like in the artwork as the years passed by. And I did that video like 2 or 3 times. I just redid it just because. I didn't delete any of the other ones, but I had actually found an original wild cherry Pepsi can of soda on eBay that came in a lot with a bunch of other Pepsi cans that were empty. And somehow or another, very luckily, that wild cherry Pepsi can was still full. And the seller offered to drain it for me. I'm like, no, don't do that. Just send it exactly as it is. So what I did is I think the title of the video was, does wild cherry Pepsi taste different than Pepsi Wild Cherry? In that video, it gained like 880 views in the very beginning. And it took some work. Eventually it climbed its way up on its own to 910 views, 920, but then I started pushing the living heck out of that video and eventually got it up to 1,000 views, but it was because I was just promoting the living daylights out of it. So that was a good video too. Explaining the history between Wild Cherry Pepsi and Pepsi Wild Cherry, because there was a difference between the two. The reformulation is why they had changed it to Pepsi Wild Cherry. So all they did is they just flip-flopped Wild Cherry and Pepsi like this. Instead of Wild Cherry Pepsi, it was Pepsi Wild Cherry. And so up to this point, I knew that I had had the momentum, especially after doing the In-N-Out challenge. And there was many other food challenges that I had tried doing, and eventually I stopped doing the big eating challenges. And even to this day, I might still do some of them, but I've even cut back on that because even eating big meals is hard on your health too. So I've decided to do smaller mukbang videos when I have the funds to do it. I'm not just going to blow my money recklessly anymore. Well, I wasn't even blowing my money recklessly. I was just spending more than I guess I should. And so, but as I just started experimenting more with the mukbang videos, I was gaining more and more views off the mukbang videos. And a lot of them were gaining like 500 views, 600 views, 700 views, even 300 views is good. And I even did the challenge where I ate, I think it was 8 Jack in the Box breakfast burritos, which had 800 calories each, and that was 6,400 views. So that video, I think it gained like 400 views. It didn't get 1,000, which I was hoping for, but that's okay. But the point is that doing all these video ideas and getting more creative with the old school sodas to the modern day ones and trying the mukbang videos, period, I had discovered enough niches to where I could now do the mukbang bangs, the regular generic soda reviews, the modern day sodas next to the classic vintage bottles, and now I'm to the point where I'm basically trying anything I can get my hands on, like even talking about famous YouTubers, giving you my thoughts on them. DJ Glowing Ice, I had gotten a really good idea from him because he did a video that was called My Thoughts on iDubbbz from Then to Now, and I noticed that video of his gained 1,800 views, and I was like, oh my gosh, if that guy gained that many views off of just talking about a YouTube celebrity, didn't even freaking do anything but just talked about him, I gotta try this. And so I did it with the LA Beast, 700 views, Badlands Chugs, now almost 600 views, and I tried it with Greg Doucette, that famous bodybuilder that's retired now, and that one topped out at 1,300 views. But the point of the matter is I didn't give up no matter what. I was even doing 3 videos a day for like 4 or 5 months. There were some days where I was doing 4 or 5 videos. I mean, I was hungry. I wanted to do whatever it took to get monetized, and I made sure that I wasn't going to fail. And so now here I am as a monetized YouTuber telling you guys my story and how I got monetized, and it feels really good. But one thing to expect is don't ever go in as a YouTuber thinking you're going to make all this money, because you gotta love what you're doing, and you have to expect that you're not going to get paid that much. It's just the way it is. Unless you get videos that hit like 100,000 views, then yeah, you might get like $300 off of that video, and 1 million views might pay out like $3,000. But it all depends on how much of your videos people are watching through, because you only get paid for however much they watch through, just like you only gain time to your hours for as much as people watch through. So it's been a wild, crazy, fun ride, and now I'm to the point to where I'm just basically taking any opportunity I can to do videos because it's fun and I enjoy it. And so I would encourage those of you out there that are just starting out to not get discouraged. Even if you have videos that are only getting like 10 views, just know that the more that you practice doing what you're doing, the better you're going to get at it. And there will be people that will flock in, that will watch you. Trust me. I know it might not seem that way because YouTube's so competitive, but you have to ask yourselves, how did those YouTube celebrities get to where they're at today? You think that they just gave up? Yeah, some of them might have gotten very fortunate in the very beginning, like the LA Beast. His very first video that he ever did was this like XXXXL burger that he had done at a restaurant, and he completed the challenge and got the t-shirt. He got to get his name on the Wall of Fame, and that video to this day has like 233,000 views. So that video very well could have gotten the LA Beast enough watch time hours to already gain enough watch time hours just off that one video alone. And it's very likely that he probably gained 1,000 subscribers off of that video. So things like that to happen, like what happened with the LA Beast, is very rare to find people out there that will get videos that will automatically monetize you. And I think that's what happened with the LA Beast. And if it didn't happen exactly like that, you got to know that after 2 or 3, maybe 4 videos of that guy dropping them on his YouTube account, definitely got him monetized. The fact of the matter is the LA Beast got monetized very, very quickly. So, rather you're someone that has videos that'll only get 10 views, even 1 view, or celebrities like the LA Beast that have videos that'll get like 1 million views. Not often, but a little bit more than not, and pretty much someone like him can get like 50,000 views. Like, that's like wiping dust right off of his knees. That's nothing for him. That's easy. But just never give up. Always know that you can fulfill any of your dreams, and there's no obstacle that's too big. So as long as you're always working hard, doing literally whatever it takes, even doing 3 videos a day, 4 videos a day, 5 videos a day sometimes, like I was doing. Sometimes it's not about the quality of the content, but how fast you're moving and how much content you're putting out. And I've been criticized by many people in the comment section about how my videos, I need to learn editing and do this and do that. Well, it's all bullcrap. Editing is not going to really take you that far, because it's when it comes down to it, YouTube, it really just comes down to random draw. And the celebrities that are gaining so many views is because they've gained so many subscribers and have had so many videos that have hit 1 million views or more, or even less than that, but still a lot, that is gaining a bunch of traction for them, to where that now they have like thousands of subscribers that will come back and watch their videos regularly. That's part of the reason why the LA Beast can get 50,000 views without a problem, is because out of the 2.91 million subscribers that he has, almost 3 million subscribers, he probably has at least 50,000 people that want to watch his videos every single time he uploads. So it's, again, don't get discouraged. Just work hard, and just know that as long as you believe in yourself, you are what you believe you are. And like, for instance, my buddy DJ Glowing Ice, when he had done his video, the Beavis and Butthead This Game Rules video, DJ Glowing Ice is not this big, huge, popular, crazy celebrity YouTuber. He's just an ordinary guy like anybody, even just like the LA Beast. But he does pretty well, and he's been at it for a while. He's been grinding his butt off. And so he has this tendency where a lot of times he won't even get 1,000 views, and sometimes he'll get 1,000 views, but a lot of times, he has this tendency to where all of a sudden he'll get videos that are like, boom, 5,000 views, 6,000 views, 7,000 views, 8,000 views out of nowhere. And it doesn't mean any of his videos are any better than mine. It's just that he's been at it for so much longer than I have, that he has a tendency and a luxury to get videos that will hit multi-thousands worth of views. And it just comes down to hard work. So just know that the algorithm, for the most part, it's random draw. But if you're consistent and you're putting a lot of content out there, doing whatever it takes to break YouTube's circuit board, force that circuit board to do what you're going to want it to do, that's how I like to put it, then the odds are more likely going to be in your favor to get videos that'll hit 1,000 views. So you just have to work hard at it. And that's exactly what I did. And I have a goal now, and that's to break 10,000 subscribers. I don't expect that's going to happen anytime soon, but I know that I will get there with hard work. Not getting too obsessed, because being too obsessed is not a good thing. You got to remember that even as a YouTuber, you still have your own personal life, and you don't want to neglect your wife like I've done before in the past because I'm too obsessed. You want to even balance. So just know that if you work hard, you can achieve things that are hard, even getting monetized on YouTube. Okay, you guys, that was it. That was my story on getting monetized, and I thank you guys for watching.